To get us started today, I wanted to tell you about beautiful Jim Key. What do you reckon I'm talking about? Well, beautiful Jim Key was a horse. That's right, he was a famous horse around the turn of the century. And I got this information here off Wikipedia. I don't remember where I come across the reference to beautiful Jim Key in the first place, but I just drew my attention. Love that name. And I did some more research on this horse, and here's what I found. I thought I'd share it with you. He was, as I say, a famous horse, a performing horse. His promoters claimed that beautiful Jim Key could read and write, make change with money, do arithmetic for numbers below 30, and cite Bible passages, but not just any Bible passages. Bible passages where horses were mentioned, or where there was a focus on the horse and the horse doing something particularly interesting or righteous. His trainer, doctor, which is in quotes, so probably wasn't a real doctor. Well, let's say that a traditionally trained and educated doctor. William Key was a former slave, a self-trained veterinarian, and a patent medicine salesman. There's some interesting things about this Mr. William Key, this former slave and self-trained veterinarian. The most interesting thing that stood out to me was that he used only patience and kindness in teaching beautiful Jim Key the horse, and he never used a whip, which was probably unusual for that time as far as trainers go. The horse performed at large venues from Atlantic City to Chicago. Jim Key was supposedly intelligent enough that he could calculate mathematical problems, possibly even trigonometry. I'm not so sure that I buy into that, but I'm sure they had a trick down that made it appear so. The president at the time, William McKinley, got to see beautiful Jim Key perform at an exposition in Tennessee. And when he did, he commented that it was an example of what kindness and patience could accomplish. If you'd be interested in learning more about beautiful Jim Key, the way you spell it is J-I-M, first name, last name K-E-Y. I guess the first name is beautiful, so just beautiful like it's spelled, and then Jim Key. Very interesting. I love pulling out real stories from the past like that and becoming acquainted with them out of nowhere. We live in a world, that's it's always fascinated by the new and what's coming in the future and all that. It's like movies, right? That I love movies, especially during the pandemic. The heart of the pandemic, when everything was shut down, Hollywood was shut down and all that. And so there were a lot of new movies coming out of very high quality and in the numbers that we were typically used to. One thing that I thought was wonderful was being able to go back in time, back into the vault of all the movies that were made all the way back into the early 1900s and stuff like that. And man, I made some wonderful discoveries back there. And so I just feel like, there is an advantage to being born now and living now, is that not only are we seeing these wonderful things, these futuristic things come into play, but we have this vast library of media from the past that we can go to and learn about fresh, just like as if it were released today or created today, even though it was created 100 years ago. It's new to us. Books like that, music like that, music especially. If you're only listening to today's songs, you're missing out. You really need to broaden out, turn to the past, and see how the past has influenced all of today's music. It's pretty amazing.